Spencer. How are you doing today?
I'm good, John. How are you?
I'm doing good. It's been a long time since I've done an interview,
Oh,
so sorry if I'm a little rusty.
no, you're good. I'm excited for this.
I'm super excited as well because I gotta say, Spencer, I fully enjoyed the Compatriots. It's such an amazing, lovable film. And starting off the bat with that, I wanted to ask you, what inspired you to write this story?
Yeah, so I was inspired by my best friend Alberto, who's a dreamer, and he was brought to this country from Peru at a really young age. And I didn't know that until senior year of high school. So I didn't understand why he wouldn't go out to the parties with us. He wouldn't, drive us when he was under his learner's permit. He would, was the most by the books kid you'd ever meet. And I didn't know about that until he told me. And for the, years that preceded that, we started talking and said, how do we talk about this? How do we tell people about this issue? Because I think if you don't have a personal connection to a dreamer, you don't really understand what they are going through and what they are at risk at going through. And yeah, our favorite movies growing up were buddy comedies. So I Love You Man, Super Bad, and thought, okay, how do we do immigration, but also a buddy comedy? And that's how the Compatriots was born.
Okay. And being the fact I did see that this film got a couple of awards between this year and last year.
Hmm.
The Why the release now for this year?
Yeah, so we have, we shot the film 2 years ago. We shot it over the course of 20 days, and then I was the editor, so I edited it over the course of about like 6 to 8 months. We went to post, had some great sound and some great music, as you heard, and started our film festival journey in August of last year, almost a whole year ago today, and it was fantastic. We went all over the country from Maui to Massachusetts and got to show the film to all sorts of different people who have all sorts of different experiences with this topic. And it was important to us to get the film out as soon as possible because, as we all know, the film is incredibly relevant. It's very relevant to dreamers and immigrants, and we want to make sure that everyone gets to see it at this time.
That's something that I wanted to ask because the situations that this film brings to the table are things that are currently happening day to day. And especially as well something that I did not expect it, at least in my island here in Puerto Rico, that we were going to get in the news that ICE has been crossing around some towns taking immigrants as well from Dominican Republic back to their homeland. Um, but w- how being the fact that you've been in all of these different festivals, how have you seen the reaction of the audience when they finish, like when they finish the film? What are their reactions?
Yeah, the reactions have been amazing. We've heard dozens at each film festival, dozens of immigration stories from audience members. They all come up to me afterwards and tell me how they came to this country, how their parents came to this country, how their grandparents, a funny story about how their grandparents came to this country. And I think, I've been to a lot of film festivals now and I've seen a lot of films and sorry, occasionally, or a lot of the times, the films at these indie film festivals are straight dramas. So it's a very serious topic, and the film is very serious, and those are good too. I do enjoy those, but people tend to leave the theater, um, you know, upset. And what I really wanted was people to leave the theater and feel empowered. And I wanted people to watch this film and have a good time, but also learn something in the background. And then you say, oh, I'm feeling ready to talk about this. I'm feeling ready. I feel like I have the ammo to tell people about this. I want to donate to a specific cause. And it's been great to have these Q&As after the screening and have, people laughing, have people have a good time while we're also talking about a very serious issue. And that's been the best part for me.
Amazing. And being the fact this is an indie film, what sort of like I don't want to use the word issues, but what what things held you back while filming? Because I know that sometimes there's things that happen throughout the 20 days that you've mentioned. So were there any type of like situations or some or issues that happened throughout filming?
Oh yeah, I mean every day there was some fire that had to be put out. The script was 105 pages and we're shooting that in 20 days. So we're basically shooting 5 to 6 pages a day, which is a lot. Whereas, like your Marvel movie, well, let's not even do a Marvel movie, like your bigger independent film, like an A24
Mhm.
film that's, $10 million or whatever, they get a little slower pace. Maybe they're doing 2 pages a day, 3 pages a day. But, some days one day we shot like 8 pages a day. So like, you're just flying around, you're losing stuff. Oh, we don't have this wardrobe. We need it here, but it's like, an hour and a half away and we need to shoot this scene now because if we don't shoot this scene now, we're gonna lose the light. I was telling someone else that it felt very athletic, you know? You were like playing sports. You had to make a very quick decision. Am I going to pass it to this person? Am I going to pass it to this person? And it was fun. It was fun even when you were, solving those issues that popped up. And I'm sure there's hundreds of issues I don't know about because I had really great producing team that was able to like shield me from those kind of things. So where are 50 people going to go to the bathroom if we shoot at this location? Like, it's all those things but I'm like, I love this location. It looks just like I want it to look. And people are like, okay, well, we'll figure it out. We'll make it work. So yeah, when you have somewhat limited resources for a film and you are going so fast, there are all sorts of things that pop up.
I can imagine. And is there any fond memory moment while filming that you keep to heart and always go back to it?
Yeah, I I really think of there's a scene down by the pond between Hunter and Tracy and in high school. And that scene's not in the script. We shot a lot of the movie, and then Dennis, who plays Hunter, turned to me and said, "How is anyone going to know she even likes me?" Because she spends a lot of the movie kind of like bantering with him and giving him crap. And I was like, that's a really good point. Why don't we like kick around some ideas? And so they were in hair and makeup, and we improvised that script, that like 1.5 page scene between Caroline and Dennis for an hour and a half. And then I went and wrote it down and we shot it the next day. And it was just so fun and free and creative. And it was really, and that's one of my favorite scenes in the movie. It looks great.
What would be a moment in the film without providing that much details for the audience that have not yet seen it, but what would be a moment in the film that you loved in all when you finished editing and watched the first cut?
Oh, well, the real answer is the ending scene, like the last scene. Like I strung together the entire film. We had an assistant editor, Joe, on set, which was awesome because he was able to cut things as we were going. And so, honestly, like 2 weeks after we were done shooting, I had the rest of the scenes in kind of like an assembly cut, and the movie was like 2 hours long, like, way too long. But I watched it, I sat down, I got to the end, and I got these goosebump feelings. I was like, oh, we did it. Like I know it's not great, the cut, but it gave me that feeling, that like feeling that like you can't fake. It just happens when you know that you did something good, or you know you feel emotionally charged. And I got those goosebumps and I said, okay, now let's get to work and let's cut this together, because I my favorite part is how the film kind of bookends with Javi. And yeah, that's without giving too much away, but I love that scene.
Okay. And at least when I see your previous work, I did notice that you have a lot of like past work in shorts. How did you feel when you went from making shorts to going to a full length feature film?
Yeah, it was a lot. I can imagine any filmmaker doesn't really know what they're getting into when they say, "Oh, I'm gonna go shoot my first feature," because it's not really like shooting 20 shorts back to back. There's so much more that goes on. There's so much more at stake. There's so much that you have to think of that you don't have to think about when you're making those short films, even if you treat them as professionally as possible. The logistics of a 20-day shoot are enormous. And thankfully, I didn't have to worry too much about it just because I had really good producers. But I had to worry about it a little bit because I was producing as well. And you just can't get bogged down in the details when you're like in it. You know, how much you have left to shoot, how much can we get out of this room in time? You have to just be in the moment and you have to just direct your film. And it can be really hard, especially when, I mean, 20 days is short in the feature film world. I can't even imagine some of these, like when these people shoot TV shows and they're shooting for 200 plus days. I don't even understand how that's physically possible, because I think I slept for 4 days after we finished shooting.
Oh wow. I
Yeah.
I remember that in some other interviews I've heard directors say or cast members, oh, we recorded the film like in 15 days. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
15 days? Okay. And um what advice would you give to young or starting filmmakers um that have, let's use the word, have a dream to probably direct or produce probably or edit a feature major feature film?
Yeah. I would say just keep creating in any way possible. So I got a chance to go back to my film school like 6 months ago when we had a screening, when we were in a film festival down in South Florida. I went to the University of Miami, so I'm well in tuned with the Miami Heat there, even though I am a Celtics fan. So yeah, I was able to tell them like, I wish I shot, you saw a few shorts, but I wish I shot more shorts. I wish I shot more content, because a lot of us, when we are filmmakers, like this is not how we're making money yet. We're making money shooting corporate videos, commercials, weddings, all sorts of different types of things. And when you're doing that, it can be really hard to then on the weekends grab your friends and shoot some short films. But that's what I would urge everyone to do, is like don't put down the camera, like keep shooting, keep creating, and keep putting content into the world, because you're going to get better each time. And then by the time you get to your feature, you're going to know exactly what to do.
Amazing, amazing words. And this would be my final question for you today, Spencer. If you could describe the Compatriots with one word, what would it be?
Um, Joyous.
Joyous. Okay.
Yeah,
I see
joy.
it. I see it. I
Yeah.
see it. Okay,
I-
Spencer, thank you so much for your time today. And as well, I hope that everybody that sits down and watches the Compatriots felt the same goosebumps that you did when you saw the first cut, and as well my goosebumps when I finished the film as well. And maybe in the future sit down to see and talk about any future endeavors that you have. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Bye bye.